All right, Parry Talks, welcome back. Thanks for bearing with the Zoom episode so far. I don't think they've been too bad, but I've had a really good time recording them. We're traveling to places that I never thought I would travel, being constrained to the Gladdy. So there are some benefits, as we've already said, to this whole Zoom thing. But today we've got a really cool guest on, a guest that I haven't really hit the pocket of so far. And in these quarantine times, I don't think there's anyone better to talk about life and club music and coronavirus than the one and only Room 2 radio crew. How you going?
What an intro.
Before we went live, I was like, 15 minutes of how am I gonna do this intro?
Oh God.
Couldn't break the ice. So yeah, they're a crew, and like, unless you've been living under a rock, I reckon these are the boys and girls that have debuted the online club scene in Australia, I think. I just want to talk about straight away, because I've heard excellent stories. What was the idea behind the first ever stream? Did you have any intention of it going viral, or people watching it all, or was it just something that you were doing for your friends?
So the whole idea started. There was a fourth member, but he had to pull out because he wanted to. Sorry, we got a couple of motorbikes going by.
That is brilliant.
There was a fourth member, Charlie, and he's a musician, and he decided to stop so he could just focus on doing his music. But pretty much on Mardi Gras 2020, we all went out, and then we came back after. It was kind of disappointing. It was so crazy, and for me personally, I was craving just singing Like a Prayer by Madonna in a smoke-filled room with rainbow-colored lights. And then that's the image I had for the night. I was like, it's going to be the best night ever. This is all I need to happen. And then went out, didn't get it, and then came back to their house, and he's got a little studio. So he's got two rooms. He's got one room, which is his bedroom, which is a closet. Yeah. And then he's got another closet next to it, which is room 2. And that's his studio. So he was out, and then someone else in the house was like, let's just put on music through all his studio gear. And then it turned into a bit of a dance floor, and the smoke machine came out, and then there was lights, and then Like a Prayer was played. And I was like, Charlie, we've got to, we could actually do this,
Yeah.
We just live stream this thing. It's Room 2 radio. We're on the mic the whole night being, hey, welcome to Room 2 radio. And talking about bar tabs and stuff. I guess the original idea from there was just to run a fortnightly, show that was, just someone playing. It wasn't supposed to be a nightclub, but then the COVID reality became real. And, on the Tuesday of the first week that it all started unfolding, I was like, we have to make this happen. We have to do a club show this Friday night. We have to do a test tonight. We have to do this right now. This is the best time to do it. And then we decided, we literally ran the stream on Tuesday night, and that's where it all took off. That video got 25,000 views, and then we got written up all throughout the week. And then from there, it was kind of it just kind of turned into Sydney's first online nightclub from that.
But also this stream that we just did as a test and sent it to our friends. We're like, oh, is the gear working, whatever. And they're like, oh, fuck it, we'll just keep it up. And then it became popular. It was weird. Yeah.
I had some notes saying it was crazy that how much media attention that you got. I was sitting, because when we work for a label, you try to get as much coverage for an artist as possible. So you spend so much money on PR campaigns and trying to get so many people on board to try to get coverage at all these blogs and stuff. And I was just refreshing my feed, I think that Wednesday morning, and every, even we covered it at Purple Sneakers, everyone was going off. And I was messaging my boss. Yeah, being sorry, you go.
No.
Yeah,
you go. No, babe, you go.
No, I was messaging my boss being have they done a full PR spend for Room 2 radio? Because this is better than we've ever done.
I wasn't part of the thing originally, but I saw the stream, and I messaged Charlie because I study PR, and I was like, you're sitting on a fucking bombshell, right?
Oh, I think we've cut out. I think the audio's cut out.
What'd you
Sorry,
get?
we just cut
Yeah,
out
what'd
there.
you get
Just
up
go from as you started speaking, because that's what like it cut out once
Okay,
you
cool,
touched the
sorry.
microphone.
I did that. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I study PR, and after I saw like the initial stream, I like messaged Charlie and I was like, you're sitting on a fucking time bomb here. Like the idea is perfect. You need to do so little to make it go so far. Like it's like brilliant, and it's such a feel good think piece, like in a time where everyone's so gutted about everything. And so like, yeah, within 24 hours of me coming on board, I had like a spreadsheet of like over 20 articles that had been written about us from like Urban List and Concrete Playground and like Time Out and like Time Out Japan and like all this stuff. And I was like, how has this happened? And it was like just like the biggest like what moment.
It was like this weird perfect storm between like everyone wanting good culture news and but then like there being none, and then I feel like Room 2 is a combination of being about music and culture but also about COVID, because there was like only bad news in arts, which I think is why it did well. But it was kind of almost embarrassing. I was like, this is like, we're not worthy of like this stupid amount of attention. And then the other weird thing was that like all things that would write about us are things that like people who follow them wouldn't enjoy what we do, more or
Yeah.
less. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like Urban List. I'm like, you know, you don't go to Universal on the weekend if
Yeah,
you read
exactly.
Urban List. So it was like funny because we got caught up in a lot of hype with that. And then I think like, oh my God, like nightclub. And then after 2 weeks, we're like, this is not my thing. And we're like, yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And like
yeah.
there were hit pieces as well, which I thought were absolutely hilarious. And I don't want to go into too much detail, start too much controversy, but was
That
it
was really
weird
funny.
on a more sentimental sort of level? Was it weird being judged off like your first draft publicly when, you know, you probably didn't have a lot of time to properly think about how you're going to curate it and how you're going to do all that?
I think the first one actually we didn't get anyone, like it was just kind of like it was clearly so DIY. The quality was so low, like it only lasted 20 minutes because we got cut off from copyright, like, and I think no one actually cared. There was like we've had one kind of bad piece of publicity written about us.
Well, one really.
It's the same person writing it twice, but it's like and it's like, yeah, we're sorry, but like it was clearly that we're like our reach in the first event was like 40 or 50,000 people, so we were kind of very conscious of that, and yeah, we just wanted to have fun, but we didn't really get that much. Like we had people responding to us being like, stop the emceeing, like, and like you're gonna get that. And that was fine, and we just like responded to all the criticism, I guess, just being like, hey, no worries, like we'll take that into account. And
I feel
That's
like,
wholesome.
well,
There was one person who like continued to send us private messages, and she was like, all these songs are old. Like, can you play songs from this decade? And I was like, okay. And then Josh replied and was like, oh, actually just giving the DJs free reign like on the music. And she was like, what's rain? And I was like, I cannot with you.
From the sky.
yeah. I think the thing about like the like any bad media that's been is just like there's like a real like, but we're doing a good thing. I think that's what we still know, that it's just like it's a feel good community thing. It's we're all amateurs. Like it's just like a nice kind of joke at the end of the day. So
It's just for fun.
yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that even though from the outside, and I think this is one thing you guys have done really well, is it seems to be like not fully fledged piss take, but it is a lot very humorous and doesn't look very thought out, but like the inner workings of it are like somewhat quite strategic and quite thought out as well. So I credit you guys for that.
I think the difference, like the important thing that we try to make a difference is that like you can just watch a live stream and it's like it's not that interesting, you know. It can be interesting, you can love the music, but that's it. And I guess because we made the outlandish claim of being Sydney's first online nightclub, we wanted to kind of like back it up as well and have some like fun random things, like using the chat room, like really emphasizing that it's like fun. And yeah, I guess that's the difference, is that it's not just a live stream, we want to make it interactive and fun, I guess, to make people want to like stick around, you know?
Yeah. And
I feel like
so you go,
sorry,
you go.
it's this again. No, I feel like at the end of the day, like an online nightclub is just like the stupidest shit ever. Like it's just like it's like the most ridiculous situation for this to be an actual feasible thing. And so like you can't be serious about it because it is just so funny. It's just stupid.
Yeah, exactly. And making it interactive like that is so important. There's so much good comedy, but we'll go into it a bit later about the comedy of the chat room and the post and the event, because I've had so many cracks at it. But to be a bit controversial as well, I'm not a fan typically of all the live streams going on right now because I just find it difficult to engage with them. And I feel like just even like your camera angles and even the visuals scrolling across the top and bottom is super interesting in a way that, because clubs as spaces are extremely interactive where like you can't be empty in a room in a club and just be watching a DJ because it doesn't work like that. It's all about, you know, the person that's standing next to you, like the people waiting or people being annoying to the DJ, and like that whole environment is so important to what a club is. So I think that it's important to have, you know, figures and people doing stuff a bit beyond like just recording a live stream with a visual behind it. Do you know what I mean? Another cool idea that I've seen as well, if the Zoom parties are the biggest vibe as well, we can see everyone dancing and videoing as well. So if that's a space that needs to be taken by you guys, please do as well.
I think, yeah, well, have you seen the Zooms that we've had?
I haven't.
So we have the Zoom running at the same time.
All right, thought so.
So, and it, like on the first week, like we didn't have one. The second week, someone just made one, and there was like 70 people on the Zoom. Also on the stream as well. Like, so it was just 70 people just dancing.
Yeah.
It was really fun, which added to that, because then we had the chat room, then we had Twitch, then we had the Zoom as well. And like this week, I think I figured out a way how to get the Zoom on the stream as well. So
Oh my God.
that'll be pretty epic, because then it's also like, you know, I'll try and make it so you can have people sitting around, you know, or dancing around the DJ and stuff like that.
The first night that the Zoom was on, I was here with our housemates, and Liv, who I live with, like she was just chilling before, and then the Zoom went on, and then she like fully was just so engaged and couldn't stop dancing and like showing off. And it was funny how like it made me really think about how there's something about being watched or something, and that was like changed the interactivity of it all. She like was like putting on different outfits and she was like, going crazy, and I was like, oh, the Zoom's a vibe, you know.
Well, I think it's like you were saying before, because there's so many streams going on at the moment. The thing is because we are young and we don't have connections. We're never going to have the best DJs. And so we need to have something that makes us worth coming back to. And the interactive element is that thing, because like for other clubs, you don't get to chat to other people and you don't get to do that thing. So it's like cool to have like a niche where you're like, I want to go to Rib 2 because then I can actually kind of like hang out with people in a virtual space.
Yeah, unreal. I should have done this at the start, but I think it's nice to do it now that we've set the scene as well. Who are you guys individually? How do you guys know each other? Like, do you have any involvement in the club scene normally? Or just what do you like club music wise? Just general intros.
Okay. So I feel like I'm in like uni class and you got to do an icebreaker.
That's exactly what this is.
Yeah, epic. I study. It's not, who cares? Who cares what I study? I like music. I like dancing. I like hanging out with my friends. I know Mia and, not Mia, Nicole and Toby through like, you know, everyone just knows, like, you know, those like really tenuous connections of you met that person, then you met that person, you're good friends with that person. So that's how I know.
But Toby and Joss went to Bergheim together.
Oh my God, stop.
That's where we met.
Yeah,
How do
that's
you
where we
get
met.
in?
Sorry. Toby was on the booth and I was one of the dancers. All right, Nicole.
So Toby and I live together, and we've been friends for ages. And I study curating, so I have like a kind of art-ish background, and I also do some radio stuff. And then I just go to music events, I guess, like Toby. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of it. I'm like involved in the scene through like my attendance, I would say. Yeah.
I have good attendance.
My name's Toby. we're in my workshop currently, so I'm a woodworker. And yeah, that's where we're streaming from currently. Yeah, I've been DJing for a while now, and like have been, always, if you can't get gigs, you make them, I guess,
Yeah.
was what I was doing last year, and had a few good ones. There's some good things going on, and but yeah, it's kind of like I listen to a lot of music. Like, so when I'm working, I have noise cancelling headphones, and I'll listen every day for like 8 hours a day, and most of those hours will be new music. And then like how I sort out my music is by my friends, not by the genres, because I failed for so long to like, I'd have so many playlists being like, oh, this is house music, okay, this is deep house music, this is, and they'd all be wrong, and then I'd be like, this is techno, and then they'd all be like not the right vibe. And then
Yeah.
I'd think about my friends, and I'd be like, oh yeah, like Nicole would really like this one, it's like percussive,
Yeah,
and
that's
then like,
insane.
okay, Amelia really love this one because it's D&B, and it's really like, it's kind of a better way of doing it for me.
Beautiful.
He has like a bunch of playlists on Spotify and doesn't tell anyone. So if you just go onto his account and then there's one for you and you're like, oh my God. And then it's like 30 songs. You're like, wow, this is my vibe, And then he also started making them for like acts that he likes I don't know, as a way of categorizing. So I listened to 80s one the other day at work and I was like, this is exactly what I want to listen to and what 80 would play. So yeah.
That's
That's
brilliant.
the whole DJ Music for Friends situation. It's the name.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. The full circle.
Yeah.
As
Full
well,
circle.
just to get just to get to know you guys a bit more as well. What was the best club night / party you went to over summer? As that's a tough question, but I'll start because I don't think I've said it yet.
Okay.
The Rimbombo party, DJ Sports and Central, Marrickville BY Open Air, the best party I've ever been to in my life.
Wow, I didn't go to the sports. I went to the Yoshinori one. That was good.
Oh my God.
I love Rimbombo.
Yeah. I think mine's probably going to be, well, yeah, it's going to be the Maximum Joy. And then I went to Boris afterwards and like stayed till 6:30. And then Nicole was actually in Paris or something. And I called Nicole on the way home and like chatted until my battery went to
That's so fun.
kaput. Yeah, it was a good night. It was the first time I'd been to Universal when they had the lasers on. And that was like an eye-opening experience of like, oh, like, this is how you can go to a club now, like make a decision, oh, I'll go to a club and it'll be a good time. Otherwise, maybe like a grip at Two Flies or something like that on, I think it was the 27th. That was pretty epic too. JP?
Sorry. Not to sound like a wanker, but I came back from exchange like in January, but so I went to like quite a few like warehouse parties when I was away. Sorry, but I haven't really been to any here, to be fair. I've been to Universal a few times, but Universal shits me.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
I hate the setup. I hate the setup. Anyway, I saw Marcel Detman at this like local warehouse, and it was like really small and really fun. Yeah. And it was like really intimate and it was really cool. And I'll stop being a wanker now.
That's the biggest flex of all.
Sorry.
I was away over summer as well in Europe as well.
Oh my God.
So what did I went to Berghain, yes. But actually from when I saw Bradley Zare in Paris was really good. And then I also saw him
He
here.
was good in
Yeah, he was good at Universal. I didn't like J to G though. I'm trying to think of like a whole experience being really. Oh, I went out in London and I saw Call Super and Object B2B, and that was really
Insane.
good at the Pickle Factory, which is like kind of feels like a pub, but it's a small club. Anyway, that was fun, and yeah, that was good.
Yeah, Object was one of my picks of the summer as well. That was the craziest night of my life, I think.
Object?
Yeah, at Universal.
Were you the one here?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. Did you remember a guy in a hazmat suit?
Yes, of course.
That was
No
me.
way. Don't do that.
Yeah.
My
I feel
world is
like-
just completing.
that was the week before, and that was the same thing where it was like, oh, I should wear a hazmat suit out, and then I forgot the hazmat suit, and then I was like, I have to go home and I have to get it because this is the only time I can wear a hazmat suit out. And it's similar to how Room 2 started. I was like, all right, well, we have to do it now. It's the only time it's going to work.
That's brilliant. That is insane. But yeah, that's a nice segue back to room 2 as well. Obviously it didn't exist before, this whole craze and that sort of thing. We've already sort of touched on this as well. You've had some really high integrity guests on, from Festa to very good friend of the show, Venus, in Holly O'Neill, Slim Set Crew as well, and a heap more. It's what's turning into like what could be seen initially as a meme, all the way back to a carefully curated online nightclub. And there's obviously a lot more careful presentation in how it is presented now compared to the initial episodes. So in which areas now going forward are you looking to improve the show the most, or what are the key focus areas in terms of improving it?
So I think going forward, we haven't really spoken a lot about it. It was kind of like a week off for us, but pretty much going forward, like we've bought a heap of gear. Like we've now got HD cameras, which you're probably seeing us on. And we've got like high-speed mobile broadband and stuff like that, and a whole bunch of equipment. And I guess going forward from here, like I've been wanting to curate it slightly more, the visual content as well. Still have it like, really fun and lots happening at all the time. But I guess I don't see a reality in the next, 2 or 3 months at least, where there's going to be nightclubs and bars open where you can go and dance and socialize in that way. Maybe there'll be restaurants and maybe that'll be the new norm for a while. But I think that it kind of sucks for those venues, and it sucks for all the people who play and are involved. So for me, what I'm kind of thinking we should do is, and I've started talking with people as well, is to collaborate with other collectives and with venues and take room 2 to a venue. So imagine like we went to, I don't know, just a Sydney venue like Frida's or something like that, and then set up room 2 there. It's the same setup, and we've got good DJs as well, and then the whole reach of the place goes up a bit more as well, and that then gives us the better opportunity to get sponsors and to monetize it so we can pay the people properly. Because I remember we sent a message to a few like professional DJs, and they're like, hey, sorry, I can't do this because I've lost my income and I can't just start playing online for free. And that was kind of like, that made me really want to get money so that we could pay people properly and they could continue to find a way in this kind of time. So I guess that's what I kind of see us doing, and the kind of curatorship of it. And so it's like it looks good. It's still fun, and it's got good people and cool venues, and so getting people to send in their own content of like their time at a club previously. I think that'd be cool. Like thinking of Universal or something like that. There'd be so many videos that you could flood the stream with of like the lasers and like a full packed room and heaps of energy, or like the warehouses. I was thinking about like contacting the warehouses and being like, hey, can we do a room 2 from there? Because I think that'd be pretty epic.
Yeah, that.
Yes.
You.
No, that's it.
I think like looking back at what we've done as well, we've been curating within the framework of what's possible for us, as Toby kind of mentioned. So like Holly's like a friend and Danny and Deepa are friends and stuff like that. So it would be great, to kind of branch out and be able to engage with people who are a bit more outside of, like we're probably like, if this is our circle, we're like one circle out of that,
Yeah.
but it would be good. That would be ideal. So that's, I guess, and also with reaching out to venues as well, would be like to ideally like go to a few different ones and give everyone a chance to have a presence for a bit of time, because I guess everything's doesn't have anything to share, anything to say about themselves. That's kind of the idea.
It kind of keeps everyone's image alive who hasn't been able to have an image in the last few like months. And then I mean the reach of it gets up as well, because that's been the hardest thing, is like talking to companies and being like, hey, that first week was great, like people were sending us stuff but they weren't really sending us money, which is obviously hard for companies to do right now. But we've been like approaching big companies that probably would be doing well right now, being like, and who are aligned with our interests, and then saying like, hey, just we'll put your name up, we'll make content for you, but having a consistent reach and like audience has been hard to, and it's been good. Like we've had, like when you think about a club, like even last week, the max we had was 80 people or 80 devices, which could be like, it could be up to 200 people. It could also be 80 people, but still that's like that's a good club night, especially online.
Yeah.
80 people is a busy night at Frida's, and Frida's is pretty much, I think and like maybe stereotyping your tastes a bit, Frida's is like our little home where if nothing else is on, you can go to Frida's and it's safe to go to. So if you get 80 people into there and 80 people on a stream, it's similar numbers wise, I think, anyway. So I think that's successful.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I guess the other thing is like we're advertising ourselves as Sydney's online nightclub. So I guess then you can have collectives put on nights at our nightclub. And we, supply the gear. We do heaps of like, it's not just doing nothing. It's not just like, okay, yeah, we'll just slap our name on it. No, we like do heaps of work still. We organize sponsors, we organize money, we organize DJs if they want. And like, if they want to organize content, like we'll put it all through. That's kind of, and then we still have our own room too, like every fortnight or something. That way we can, do some good and like keep culture, like, or like create a culture in this time, and then still have our own fun.
Yeah, it's funny because like we've noticed that obviously there was like a huge like interest in the beginning because we had like all the media and stuff, but now we've got like a dedicated regular group that always come. Like we've got people that we always talk to on the stream. Like there's this guy Jason who sent us a message who said that he has a disability and so he can't actually go to a normal nightclub. So we've like found ourselves in this position, which is like super cool, that we can provide nightclubs for people who aren't physically able to go to nightclubs usually. And there's like another woman called Hillary who lives in like Coffs Harbour, and I think she's like around 50-ish, and she comes regularly and she tells us and like donates every week like stupid amounts. And we're so grateful to Hillary. And she's like just always like, I'm usually in bed by 9, but I can't stop going to bed. Like I can't go to bed before 2 on a club night. And she's like such a sweetheart. And she brought a friend Kaz to the stream last week. And it was like, it's just so cool that we like, created that kind of space. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just stole, I thought I had a really good point brewing in my head about accessibility and how online clubs like might stick around for the future because of it. Like online clubs are powerful because they reach people that also can't normally go to clubs in Sydney. And like living in Sydney, we're so lucky that, like Object will come and say, oh yeah, I'll just walk, like get a bus and we'll go see Object or, whoever you want. So there's like a big argument that online clubs might stick around after this whole COVID thing sort of passes over. So I just want to know, like, do you think that online clubs have a sort of space in the Australian club or electronic music circuit after COVID sort of passes on?
Yeah, well, in Jason's message to us, he was like, "You've inspired me to create my own club for people like me." So, and I think definitely, because I work in art, we're always talking about accessibility. Like with every space, it's like always a massive thing. Like with wheelchair accessibility, like we do just like accessibility training, all this stuff. But in music, it's like, oh, like you can't go to Universal because there's 2 flights of stairs to get up there. Like and then once you're in there, you can't, like it's dangerous. And then also, like if you're epileptic, like or if you have mental disabilities and it's too stressful and, you suffer from claustrophobia or anything. So I think definitely, and I think, I guess you already have stuff like Boiler Room and stuff, which maybe provide that space already. But I guess on a smaller scale, there's definitely a possibility to engage people with that.
I think the benefit of like running an actual live stream, because I don't think Boiler Room actually live streams their sets, but they don't. I think they're still relayed. Yeah, because like I don't know, I was watching the Peggy Goo one the other night, and I think it's relayed because then she showed videos of her like dancing to her own live stream from her own house.
He spoiled it. She snitched.
They like edit it and stuff. I don't know. I don't want to comment on what I don't know, but I guess the thing about having an online nightclub is the connectedness that you get, even without proximity. So I guess, looking forward, like if it all comes back, like I would love to put on events just to start off with, and then I'd love to put on events that you also stream out online, and because you can't replicate, like, people were talking about or asking me, like, how do you manage money with that? And it's like, well, firstly, I'm not too focused on money to start off with. Like, I'm not really a person who cares about money very much.
Not at all.
But I guess then, you can't, if you're worried about, like, oh, well, there's the venue cost and all that stuff, how are you going to do that? Well, people can't replicate a venue in their own house, but they can do the next best thing. And, like, if they want to do that, like, they can do that, and that's so fine. And if it's, just streaming a random club night that we put on somewhere in the future, or a party anywhere, then I think that's definitely something I'd be interested in, with the, like, the chat going, and, like, just anyone can comment, and, like,
So you mean like streaming an actual party?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Streaming an actual
there could
party,
be both at
and
the
then
same
you
time.
have, and then you also have, like, if the online presence is big enough, then you can let it make its own little social environment, or you can, like, try and make ways in which the people at the party can speak to the people online, and then the people online can,
And then that's also financial accessibility as well, because I don't know, obviously
Yeah.
parties are expensive, etc. But the online element could always be free. Yeah.
Exactly. That's so interesting. And I think Louisa from Athletica, it's actually started thinking about this stuff, because before this COVID stuff happened, she was like, how do I stream from Tokyo Sing Song? And I was like, oh, that sounds like a task, sister. But then I think she pulled it off, so I'm not sure. Just to pause for a second, Evie just messaged me and she goes, how did the Room 2 radio interview go?
Send her a screenshot.
So do you want to give a big shout out to Evie Wiley?
Hey Evie.
We'll take
How
a
are
picture.
Evie!
Shout out to all my listeners that just got their ears blown off. Yeah, that was brilliant. Now we'll take away, like, we'll end the serious note of our conversation here and try to get a bit silly. What's the most etched thing you've seen posted in the chat or the event, or just like some of the most chronic thing you've ever seen?
I don't think there's actually been, like, there's been a few guys on the Zoom shirtless doing nangs. That was like, and that was the first week, so we didn't even have control of that Zoom. So now, like, everything, like, it's never that bad, actually. We've never had anything. No. We had, like, on the first week, someone just posting, like, those times when you, like, get the space, like an asterisk, for example, and you do them like 1,000 times, and then it makes like an image of something. Yeah. We had someone do that. Yeah, what was it? It was a penis or something. Yeah, and then we just had to ban them for an hour, and they didn't come back. But there's never been anything drastically offensive.
It's just like people being like, anyone's selling, which is like like, it's like kind of funny. Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, there has been a few that, like, I just took a bump right then. It's like it's quite funny. Yeah. And, like, but I have been, like, questioning whether we should moderate it, and sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't, because it's like it's in the middle of a trance set at 2 a.m. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Someone was like, I just took a bump off my mum or something like that. And I was like, vibes.
Yeah. There's nothing. It's just like drug chat. You know what I mean?
It's also probably just not true anyway. So yeah.
Well,
definitely.
If it is,
go
for it.
Yeah.
No, there hasn't been anything like, because I've been on the chat for like most nights. Like, I'm bartender on the chat, like serving drinks and stuff. Yeah, sorry. Unveiled. But so I like moderate it, and that's kind of like my job to make sure it is a safe space. So I have been like, but like Twitch like highlights, blocks of swear words. So like yeah, it does. So like I only noticed one time when there was like, this girl was like, it was like 2 a.m. end of the set, and she's like, cheers guys, these dykes have had the best night ever. And it was like, I mean, obviously it was like her reclaiming the word, so it was like fine. So I like allowed that, but it was like, there's nothing like that's been etched, because otherwise I would have had to.
There has been people, the original Zoom makers were like, cute boys, get on my Zoom. Do you remember that? They were like, kept being like, like we want hot guys on our Zoom. We're like, what is this? Like,
Oh yeah, there's like people like when we had dancers in the background, they'd be like, that guy can get it, or like especially the first week, they'd be like, sexy cowboy can get it, and like
or like pink wig, like oh my god, pink wigs with black turtleneck, crazy, like narrating the caption.
I think
It was
that my
tight.
big claim to fame in the Room 2 radio /chat/event was, I think in one of the first weeks in the event, I just posted saying like Parry, Tritsiniotis, and then like 3 other names, like +1, like put me on the guest list or some shit.
Oh yeah, that was really funny. I liked that. That was so good.
And I was just tapping that at home being like, oh, I'm a genius.
You're like comedy gold.
Because like I
we'll
knew
get
there'd
this
be
guy
like
Netflix special.
I knew there'd be like the whole like, well, can I get a vodka rebel and all that sort of yarn. So I try to, you know,
Mix it up. My dad asked for a mid-strength beer every Friday night.
Yeah, I serve him regularly.
Bring your own
Delicious.
BYO. I think that one of my favorite memes amongst our friends, and I don't know if you guys make the same jokes, is the whole like the 2 till 10 p.m. BYO open air secret location party. Don't tell anyone the address. Don't Uber to that address. And like, I think this no glass. Don't bring glass. Like,
It's so good.
the less glass at a party is the better the party is.
True.
Perfect metric.
Yeah.
The perfect, and I wrap up all these episodes the same way, and I ask individually everybody, and I'll ask you guys as well. What are the best boiler room sets in your opinion? Just 2 or 3 off the dome, just goat sets / mixes. Doesn't have to be boiler rooms.
Okay,
that
number
are your
1
personal favorites.
obviously is Catronata.
Oh my god!
You know that one that's like just a
Trust me.
full like movie of content. You know,
Yeah, no. That's exactly what I was gonna
it is
say.
hilarious.
Yeah. I used to study to it all the time, but like if you like just like watch it, there's like so many characters and it's amazing. There's like this one girl front right gacked off her face, so sweaty, like her shirt's
With the black hair.
color. She's like going for it, like the girl can move, but there's like this girl at the back and she's kind of doing like the really like boppy kind of like trying to be sexy but is moving in a really like
And it's like I think
robotic
it's
way.
early 2000s, so it's just like really like awkward, and everyone's wearing weird clothes, and like, and there's like some annoying dudes. Anyway, it's have you watched it?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
through a
They're,
big
like, the
Catronata phase.
sweatiest.
It's so funny.
And there's that guy, that
and
bald guy with the
then-
glasses.
Oh my god, yeah.
King.
I really liked the recent Fortet one from Isolation. That was good. And then I went to one in Taiwan at this festival called
Okay.
Spectrum Formosus, and there's this that they have like a, I don't know, a kind of a big techno scene in Taipei. Anyway, and that was really cool. There was some Disconnected and some other people. Anyway, that was good.
Nicole's one of those people in the front. Nicole is a big mover. Like, oh my god.
I get the same thing. People always make fun because my hair swings. I'm like, get out of here.
JP.
Oh, the Catronata one. I like. Sorry, that's all I listen to. On repeat. It is. I study to it like constantly.
I don't know. I don't listen to many mixes, so
Oh,
yeah, but I didn't really listen to it. I like because I always just click next as soon as I get bored, like and it happens, and I always forget, and then I'm like, oh, and I have to go back to 7 minutes 42, and then
Right.
yeah, I just like, or I'm no. Sometimes I follow it, like the Andy Garvey soft center one.
oh wow.
Is like friggin' epic. I mean, I listen to radio mixes all like because FBI is great. I listen to like every sunset, every day during like I play back the next day, and then I'll like because like then also then all of the sunsets too. I listen to everyone, and then I'll because I also like finding tracks too. So like
FBI or Skylab? No, just kidding. I'm not gonna make you answer that.
Yeah.
How about instead of that? How about we go best Room 2 radio set? What's the GOAT Room 2 radio set so far?
Oh, it's who have we had?
Who we had? So first week we had honey. Yeah. Second week we had. Was it Diva Cups?
Tim Boyd was pretty.
Tim was pretty good. It was quite funny because the original Room 2, the floors are really bouncy, and he only plays vinyl. and so we also love having the dancers in the background, and so very quickly, as soon as he started playing, we had to like only shuffle sideways. So
No up or down.
We had that week with Rent Strike. We've got their mix online, and their mix is epic. Like I've listened to it a few times.
Same,
yeah, Riley and Johnny,
Riding.
Johnny Liu, yeah.
And
Same.
who else did we have? We had Trad.
T-Rad.
Yeah, T-Rad.
T-Rad was pretty epic. It was like very hard. And then Ben's was pretty good too.
Yeah. I mean, we've just listed everything.
Yeah. I'm a big Ben Fessa fan, but his set was hot. Yeah. Yeah,
Ben
Ben
Fessa is
Fessa,
hot.
Tim Boyd, and Renstruck DJs.
I really enjoyed the Slim set and Jasic set.
That was funny.
epic.
That was
Like
epic
even
as
like watching from my bedroom, like on the chat room, I was like, "Fuck yeah, this goes
Actually,
off."
I think my favorite was
Oh, there it is.
I think my favorite actually was Venus last week.
Oh yeah,
It was- And it was so funny because every mix would be like, and it was like, dude, it was so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like, it's the biggest club vibe ever, honestly.
She's like, I'm going too hard. And I was like, no, you're not.
She's the best.
Yeah,
And then final question, I always ask everyone as well. You have to nominate someone to come on Parry Talks. So you just got to choose someone else to get grilled. Who else you think deserves their story being told? You can do it as
If it's
a
a
meme
roast
or
yeah,
sentimental.
okay.
You know.
Interesting. I'm obsessed with Slim Set at the moment. So. Do that.
I think for me, you'd have the best conversation of your life. It's just without a doubt. Liam Ebbs, just
Okay,
get
yeah.
him on. And like, you'll just, get Tom and Liam on and you'll just like talk about anything and everything. Because, Liam is the most easy person to talk to ever.
Yeah, I concur with both
Big
of those
babe.
options. Yeah.
I think I'll take note. All right. Parry Talks. I don't even know what episode is. Stuff it. The sun's set as well. Like I forgot to turn my light on in my room. But
Hold on, we'll join you. Yeah, we'll
follow Room 2 Radio on all socials. Follow Parry Talks. Follow All Mate Paz everywhere. If you've listened this far, and Room 2 Radio one day next year has a real life club night, and I did full episode as well.
Yeah, we want to like our plan is to reunite everyone.
Yeah.
So if you find me at a Room 2 Radio,
dirtiest, closest club ever.
if you find me at a Room 2 Radio party in the future, I will double park you if you mention this episode. But yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.